All right, ladies and gentlemen, gigantic news dropped today, and no matter what collectible card game you're into, this news is definitely going to affect you. Let's chat about it. The video starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back right here to Hometown TCG. You guys know me, my name is Josh, and that's right, if you're a TCG player seller, you woke up to a bombshell in your email. There is intent, and I'm using the word intent, I'll go over that in a second, for TCGPlayer to purchase Channel Fireball. And intent meaning that this is all but done, the paperwork is in the writing, but a deal between two companies this size doesn't just happen by someone snapping their fingers. There's going to be some time in between. There's going to be a period of bringing Channel Fireball into the fold, their lines of business, their departments into the fold, whatever it might be. So this is all but happening, but it has not happened yet. But I do want to focus on what this means for us as an enthusiast community. You guys know me. I'm a huge, gigantic Flesh and Blood fan. I just got to play at an awesome Road to Nationals this weekend. It was an absolute blast. And I'm a Magic the Gathering fan. So there's two really big card games that are supported by Channel Fireball and TCGPlayer that I love that are going to be affected by this. So let's talk about what this means for us as an enthusiast community, and let's start with what you see behind me. Let's start with the product. Now, this, I believe, will change the way we see product sold to us, the consumer. And what I mean by this is Channel Fireball was notorious for the Channel Fireball bundle, the box deal, the buy one box, get one for pennies on the dollar, buy a box of Magic the Gathering, get a million Path to Exiles and 45 foil lightning bolts and a playmat in a box. Whatever it is, I think we're going to see a decrease in the number of bundles. Given at any given moment, you can go on Channel Fireball and you can find one of these bundles, so I expect to see those scaled back as TCGPlayer really acts as more of an open marketplace, selling things at market price, letting the market dictate itself, rather than this whole grab a large portion of product and dump kind of scenario, or grab, maybe dump's not the right word, grab a large portion of product and try to make some of our money back quickly. So I do think we see a drastic decrease in the amount of bundles that are available, which is going to help, I think, games much like the game that I love the most, Flesh and Blood. I think it's going to help that community really get a stable secondary market and a stable opportunity for people to be able to reliably, sell Flesh and Blood cards to the community and Flesh and Blood product at a consistent price without the notion of some big player coming in and spiking the market and just like trashing all that. So I think that is huge. I think that's really good for games like Flesh and Blood. I think Magic is so large, it's relatively unaffected. I don't think there'll be too much change there. I don't know if the removal of bundles specifically will change that. Product will continue to flow on TCGPlayer. So that's relatively unexpected, but for smaller games, this could be huge. And the second way that this affects us, members of the community, is something that's really picking up steam right now, much like this channel, guys. We're on a race to 5,000 subs. If you're new here, click the subscribe button, click the like button on this video, and stick around for more, because much like us growing, events and in-person play is growing. It's coming back, and Channel Fireball is notorious for doing an awesome job of hosting these in-person events, right? These in-person events hosted by Channel Fireball are generally good experiences. Now, speaking on a micro level, the staff, the interactions, the people, the members of the community at these events are always fantastic. So they always do a good job there. And the question is, does TCGPlayer feel the need to continue hosting these events? Right now, buying and selling product is something TCGPlayer does very well. It's very much in their wheelhouse. But event hosting is really outside of their wheelhouse, of their realm of concern at the moment. So as they purchase Channel Fireball, as Channel Fireball comes into the fold of TCGPlayer, I'm curious to see how the event hosting will shake out. Now, there's two roads here. The first road is TCGPlayer could continue to host these events. They could keep on, I'm assuming most of, if not all of the team at Channel Fireball that does an awesome job, and have those team members continue hosting these events and continue to, process as business as usual, but with the TCG Player logo everywhere instead of the CFB logo. The other option, however, is that TCG Player decides, frankly, this isn't for us. This isn't in our realm of concern. Let's move on. And they drop the responsibility of hosting these events. Now, if that does happen, we then as a community can look to someone like a Star City Games to start picking up a ton of these events, or maybe a new independent player enters the market. My expectation would be Star City Games, who also in the past has done a really good job, been a really interesting environment, welcoming, warm, just group of people. It would be cool to see, them pick up that mantle, but there could be a new player, someone unforeseen that enters that market. My thought is actually that TCG Player is not going to see a huge value in hosting these in-person events, and I don't know if they are going to continue that mantle. So look for someone like Star City Games to really increase their responsibility in the event hosting scene. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about, that this deal is going to affect our community, our collectible enthusiasts and TCG Player community, is content creation. Guys, if you're not new to the internet, Channel Fireball sponsors a ton of amazing content creators. But that being said, Channel Fireball doesn't have a content team on staff. All of their content comes from sponsored creators. And these sponsored creators not only do an incredible job, but have an audience outside of Channel Fireball. So TCG Player, with acquiring Channel Fireball, can then turn and look and say, do we value content creation? And I believe not only will they, but they should. First and foremost, I can't stress enough, these content creators for Channel Fireball are amazing creators. They've started to build their own following outside of Channel Fireball, so they are bringing a whole new audience into the fold. And second of all, right now, we don't really go to Channel Fireball. So Channel Fireball, outside of just posting videos on YouTube and you subscribing to the Channel Fireball YouTube channel, there's no way for you to know, the consumer to know, like a new Channel Fireball video dropped. It's really hard to find sometimes. However, we often visit TCG Player, whether we're just window shopping, browsing, price checking, whatever it might be, getting a set list, whatever we might be doing, we go to TCG Player all the time. This gives TCG Player an opportunity to pay these content creators to make their amazing content and then advertise the games they are selling right on their home screen. Imagine visiting TCG Player and seeing a spoiler video for the new Flesh and Blood set, or a new Magic deck archetype in Pioneer, or my latest MTG Arena Explorer video right there on the TCG Player Marketplace. I don't know why that would be there. It's not really a cardboard that you can buy, but you get the picture, right? Imagine having this one-stop hub where not only can you go to financially be involved in these games, purchase, buy, sell, whatever it might be, but then to consume content, to drag you farther in, to draw you into these hobbies and games that you love. So I think there's a huge opportunity there. But it's our responsibility to think of the antithesis as well. What happens if TCG Player says, you know what? I don't really want to pick up the content mantle. I don't really care about the content. I want to buy boxes and cardboard and sell boxes and cardboard. Well, we saw something similar, to reference Star City Games again, we saw something similar recently with Star City Games. And what happens in this scenario is we, I believe, see an uptick in those individual creators, not only video production, but channel viewership and channel size. So when Star City Games dropped their Versus Live series, we saw several of those creators, whether start or really get back into their own content creation or get back into their own channels and their own platforms. And those platforms have since grown a ton. This is an opportunity for those creators as well. Even if TCG Player decides, I'm not picking up that mantle, it's nice to know those creators are still out there and have an opportunity to experience this boom, this growth, to really grow themselves and further their channel and their dreams. So I don't think it will directly hurt the content creators all that much if TCG Player doesn't pick up the contracts or responsibilities or the content creation mantle, but I also think it's hugely beneficial for them too, so I expect to see them pick that up. So guys, overall, I think this is huge news. I think this is a good thing. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you're here and you're one of my Flesh and Blood fans, or even if you're a Magic the Gathering fans, you can visit this channel sponsor, minmaxgames.com, to pick up some awesome stuff. They have great prices. I love what they do over there. I love their events. I hang out there all the time. So guys, visit my sponsor, minmaxgames.com. I'll put a link in this video's description. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. Goodbye.